Hi, I'm Amy Bodkin. I'm an autistic adult and used to be a school psychologist and worked in public schools, private schools, and for the last few years, I've been consulting with homeschoolers all over the world, mostly through a Charlotte Mason plenary. I now have my own space at amybodkin.com, where we like to say it's as easy as ABC. A for ally with us through our podcast and merchandise. B, boost your skills through our educational resources. And C, connect with us online through our online community and our private consultations. Super excited to be talking with you guys today about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, planning and organizing your homeschool. Only it's planning and organizing your homeschool the neurodivergent way, because that's the only way I can do it. I know Sarah Collins is speaking with you guys also today about executive functioning, and I am so glad she's speaking with you guys today about that because there's just so much that we can squeeze into these short talks. And so she's going to be explaining to you what executive functioning is. I'm going to give you a brief definition right now, but if you want to get a more extensive understanding of what that is and how that can impact your ability to plan and organize your homeschool, definitely check out Sarah's talk. I've recently come out with a packet. This is just the preview packet. We'll have others on the website. This is just my sample one. Planning and organizing your homeschool the neurodivergent way. And this is part of our Boost Packet series we're coming out with. It basically walks you through how I plan our homeschool. And I have very little executive functioning skills. Executive functioning skills are what we use to be able to basically plan and do anything in our lives. I took a quiz recently. There were 12 different skills. Of the 12, I had 3. And now that I'm 40, I kind of feel like I'm probably not going to develop anymore. I probably have what I'm going to have. And I make really good use of those 3 to be able to do everything that I do in life. Unfortunately, those 3 are not very useful for bill pay, if I'm perfectly honest. The 3 skills that I do really well, I'm really good at organizing, but only specific kinds of stuff. I'm really good with visual spatial type organization. I'm also really good at metacognition. Metacognition is seeing patterns in things. So I'm really good at watching and observing and then kind of figuring out, ooh, I see the pattern. This is what that means. And then the third thing I'm really good at is flexibility. As you can see, none of these are good with bill pay, especially not flexibility. They are not flexible. And honestly, a lot of those skills I have are not very helpful either with most traditional homeschool planning and organization. And I know a lot of homeschool moms who are very ADHD or autistic or have some kind of struggles with executive functioning, or maybe they're just going through a lot of trauma or have a lot on their plate and they're overloaded. So how can we make that easier? So over the years, I have used my metacognition skills and my organization skills to create a system that's really easy. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it right now. And then if you think it would be something that might work for you, you can head over to my website at amybodkin.com and you can get the whole packet, and it comes with a bunch of different templates so that you can basically do the same thing I do without having to reinvent the wheel. So basically how this works, I take 1 week out of my year. That 1 week, I can do almost anything for a week. So that 1 week, we do testing. Now, not all states require testing. My children, unfortunately or fortunately, have a school psychologist for a mother. So I like to do testing every year because it allows me to kind of take a look and go, okay, so I kind of know where we're at, but I want to see, like, have I missed anything? How has our plan been working out from this year to last year at this time? So that 1 week out of every year, we do some testing. And then at the end of the week, then I go through and look at our scores, see where we've grown. It's kind of like measuring on a doorpost, only you're measuring how your child has grown academically and developmentally. I also offer this testing free on my website through my special needs membership group, which is you can also find and join on the website. Everyone who's in it gets free yearly testing, and it's the same testing pretty much that I do with my kids. So once we've done the testing, take a look at how we've grown, kind of like, okay, so we did better here. Oh, we went down a little here. We need to do a little extra work here, might need to make some tweaks to what we're doing. And then these aren't tests that measure where you are in a curriculum. They're tests that measure where are you as far as being able to do academic tasks in comparison to other people about your age or grade level. So it's helpful in understanding what skills we have more so than what knowledge we've memorized. That's not as useful for our purposes. So once we've done some testing that week, and the kids love it because they get the whole week off of school. So they're like, this is great. I spend like 15 minutes each day doing some tests and I'm done and I get to go play. So then at the end of the week, I go through and I look at where we're at. And then I pull out the form guides at a Charlotte Mason plenary. You can pull out any kind of list of subjects you want to cover, whether it's a list from your state or some kind of basic curriculum that you like to use. I like the form guides at a Charlotte Mason plenary because they break it down really easy, and I love things broken down short. If it's a lot of words or a lot of stuff, I'm going to get lost. Most people with executive functioning do get lost the more stuff there is. And Rachel over at the Charlotte Mason plenary does a lovely job of summarizing things into a very small amount of space. So I go through the list of the subjects and I just start writing down books I think I want to read the next year. So if we're doing early American history, then I'll immediately think, oh, these are some that I think I'd like to read. These are ones we have at the house that we haven't read yet. Someone told me about this one. I'd like to read that. And I just start making a brainstorm list. It's not the final list or anything. And then I make checklists, a loop schedule that we can use with all of our content subjects like literature and history and science and those kinds of things. We like to do those together. And then I make a list of independent subjects, things like math and reading and writing, exercise, music practice, things I can't do for them. They have to learn it themselves. I can read aloud content subjects, but they have to actually learn to do the math and the writing and the music practice and the foreign language and those kinds of things. So I create 2 lists, and those lists get used every week all year long. We just pick up and we take a break when we need to. If we're having a hard day and people are having meltdowns, we drop it. We take a break. We pick up the next day. If we're having a really rough week, maybe we've got some really big event at the end of the week and we're stressed and overwhelmed, then we take the week off. We school year round, so we can do that. You don't have to, but I find it's easier for me. And then as we're going through this list, it doesn't have any of the books laid out for the kids. I have my master list of my brainstorm list. And so when we get to science, I pick up the first science book I want to start with, and we read as much as we're going to read that day, and we put it down. And then we come back around to science again, we pick that same book up, and we keep picking it up until we're done with it. And when we're done with it, we pick another book off the list. And sometimes I've had too many books on the brainstorm list. So by the end of the year, I'll take those off, maybe move them to the next year's list, or maybe just take them off entirely. And then other times, I will add books to the list throughout the year. Books that I hadn't planned on reading, but all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. Let's read this next. And so I just keep highlighting on the list which ones we've read. And then at the end of the year, I'm able to use that to create a list to turn into my state, because we do have to do an evaluation. And when I turn in my evaluation, the only thing I have to do is send our evaluator a bunch of PDFs of their tests and handwriting samples and the list of books that we read. And that's everything she needs. So it makes my end of the year super easy, because most of what I do after we do the tests, I do in a few hours by the pool. I'll sit out there, make my little list of books, come in, make my few checklists on the computer that I can print out, and I'm done. And the great thing about this packet that we've created is that we've included all of the templates that I use in our homeschool. So it's got the checklists, it's got a sample of the book brainstorm list, it's got a sample of what I have actually done some years. It's got all kinds of things in there. It also has ways for you to test your kids on reading and math fluency using just stuff you print out on your computer, because being able to read and do math comfortably and reasonably quick is very important to being able to do more advanced skills. I know a lot of times we're like, oh, it's okay, just let them use a multiplication table. And that's not a problem, but it's kind of like exercise. You want to keep practicing your skills, because the more you exercise your muscles evenly and consistently, the stronger you get. And it's the same way with math and reading fluency. And because of that, both of those always appear on my kids' skill subjects charts. They have to read something independently at their comfort level, and they have to practice their math facts. I don't care how they practice them, but I want them practiced, because that's your exercise. And they also write something, and usually do some foreign language practice, and usually do some music practice. Of course, they're teenagers now, so when they were younger, their list was shorter, because they just didn't really have the spoons to do quite as much. Spoons is something that we use it in the autistic world, but we also see it in the autoimmune conditions world. The idea that you have a certain number of spoons, and different activities you do throughout the day will cost you a spoon. And so eventually you run out of spoons and you just can't do anymore. And that's very much the case with autoimmune conditions, and also with autism and learning disabilities. Showing up to life and doing life the way other people expect you to, in a world that's not designed for the way your brain thinks, can be exhausting. And we have to find new ways of doing things so that we do not become exhausted. Allowing ourselves or our children to mask and pretend to be like everybody else and to live up to everybody else's expectations, it can torpedo your health. And it did torpedo mine. I made it through graduate school, and I do love what I do, but it cost me a lot health-wise. And so when it came to our own children and helping them start making decisions about, well, what do you want to do with your life, and what direction do you want to go in? And this really fits in with planning and organizing your homeschool, because when we get to the later years, that's one of the conversations we have to have. And I have that conversation with a lot of families when I do consults with them. When I've got a consult that involves a teenager, a lot of times the teenager will participate in the meeting, and we might do some personality tests, and we'll talk about, well, what do you want to do with your life? What do you feel like are your skills? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? You need to find something that can help you be able to support yourself, but it does need to be something that you can comfortably and consistently do. If it causes you to give 100% effort all the time, you're going to make yourself sick. So it needs to be something that's comfortable. So when we talk to our children about that, I always say, look, you can go to college but you don't have to go to college either. There are a lot of trade options out there that might be better suited to you. It depends. It depends on the kid. So that is another thing to think about. And also to think about when you're talking about planning and organizing your homeschool. I know that I can't operate the same way that a lot of other parents do. It doesn't work for me. I end up feeling really bad about myself and thinking, oh, you're such a screw up. Why can't you get it together? They're all getting it together. Why can't you get it together? And I know a lot of times we all feel that way, but it's a little bit different when your brain doesn't work the same way everybody else's does. It's worse. But I can do almost anything for a week. And so I've tried to simplify this down to as basic as I can possibly get it. So it's just rinse and repeat all year long. And it's not boring rinse and repeat. I think that's something that's critical to say. We have the books we want to read, and we'll add in videos or we'll add in activities, but we get to add them in as the mood strikes us, which really helps. It's kind of like planning from behind. I don't know if you've heard that phrase used or not. We definitely use that within the special needs homeschool community. And I think that it really does describe how I do things. I start out with brainstorm ideas and a routine. And then basically, as I'm going throughout the year, I'm either writing in or highlighting books that we've added. And so by the end of the year, I have the curriculum that we end up using. But at the beginning of the year, all I had was my brainstorm lists. But because I start with the list of subjects from the form guides at a Charlotte Mason plenary, I already have everything I need. This year for citizenship, we added in Star Trek Deep Space Nine because let me tell you, we watched at dinner with our kids and we have some of the best conversations. It's led to all sorts of wonderful citizenship discussions about, like there was a time where there was a bomb for a school and a school was blown up. No one got hurt, but it was on one of the episodes and it led to a great conversation about current events and, those kinds of things. So we've had tons of great conversations. So it fits in nicely with citizenship. Was it something that I originally planned? I mean, no. We planned to take a Plutarch class, and we took a Plutarch class at a Charlotte Mason plenary. That was fun. But there's all sorts of different things that you're doing throughout your year. If you just add them to the list, then by the end of the year, you've got a curriculum. And I think that's the easiest way to go. And most other special needs families I've talked to have felt the same way. It's easier to plan from behind. This just offers you a guide with how you can do that. There we go. Planning and organizing your homeschool the neurodivergent way. So get a copy. It's got templates. And I think it will really save you some time and stress and maybe make it so that you feel like you're actually consistently homeschooling, because I think that that's one of the biggest struggles for most people who are super ADHD like me. We have a hard time being consistent with anything. Laundry and dishes are a severe problem for me. My husband eventually took over the laundry because I just cannot move the clothes from the washer to the dryer without forgetting them. I've done this, tried so many different things. I just can't do it. But I'm great with flexibility, and I am fantastic at talking with our children through challenges they're frustrated with, pivoting and problem solving something with the kids. That's something I'm great at, and it's something my husband isn't as great at. So let's play to our skills and our strengths and use those things to help us do the things that are more challenging. Why do it the way you stink at? Why not do it in a way that can make you feel successful? And that's the whole reason I made that packet. By the way, it is super, super short, and I did that on purpose because I know that information overload is a real thing. So anyways, go check it out. It was great being with you guys, and make sure you check out some of the resources we have at amybodkin.com, especially if you are especially if you're an autistic or ADHD parent or a parent who just feels overloaded, and we don't have a strict definition of special needs over there. Anybody who goes through life and has any kind of an experience where they need a little extra TLC, that's a special needs family. Whether it's trauma, physical health problems, autoimmune conditions, learning differences, executive functioning challenges, all of those things mean we need a little extra TLC from time to time. And when we acknowledge that we need extra TLC, that we too have needs that are outside the average, it brings us in eye-to-eye relationships with each other. Instead of placing some people on a pedestal, go, oh, you're so inspirational, or trampling some people beneath our feet. Oh, well, they have problems. No, we want that eye-to-eye relationship where we can love and support and appreciate each other for who we each actually are. I like to say that each person is a gift to the world. And you would not want all of your gifts to be exactly the same, because that would be boring. And so when we allow ourselves to be the people that we were born to be, and then we accept and appreciate other people being who they were born to be, that's where the magic happens, especially when we can learn to do that in our own homes with our own families. Thanks for being with me. I look forward to seeing you guys later.